Welcome to Missouri Sports Talk. I'm your host, Cameron Staley, and today I'm here with
Rickie Dunn.
Rickie. Thank you for coming on the show.
Of course, I had to. It's mandatory for real.
You're one of our first athletes that are actually in college to come on the show. I want to say you're one of the first 5, that's for sure. So
Okay.
Thanks for coming out today.
Top 5.
So where did you go to high school? Let's just start there.
Okay, so the high school that I went to is called Battle High School. It's placed in Columbia, Missouri, on the east side, and our rivals are Rockbridge and Hickman.
All right, so did you go to Battle all 4 years?
All 4 years, and I loved it.
What was Battle like in your opinion?
In my opinion, the battle was so action-packed. Like every week it was something. Either it was with sports events or, community stuff within battle or other activities, inside of the hallways and stuff like that.
Right.
Very action-packed. Was never a dull day for real.
Let's go ahead and get to the hot seat.
Let's do it.
You, of course, know the drill, 10 questions, 60 seconds.
Yo.
I think I've really only had one person fail, so I don't think that you're going to be number 2. I actually had one of my friends, he was over, and he decided to, do it for me. He just came and sat down, and I was over there. Mm-hmm. And he, started asking all the questions. I'm like, shit, that's actually kind of hard. And I, know all the questions, too, but it's still, tough, so.
Because you're in that hot seat.
Right.
It's hot.
All right, so I'm going to give you 3, 2, 1, and then we'll start the clock, and I'll ask the first question.
Let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Favorite song?
Standing on Lies by No Cap.
What's your dream car?
I'll say Audi Q8.
Okay, are you a morning or a night person?
I'll say morning.
Who's your favorite artist?
No Cap for sure.
What's a hobby that you have?
I like to write, so I do poetry, like to write down bars and stuff like that too.
Favorite food?
Pinch toast on top. Forget about Chipotle.
What is your least favorite sport?
I'll say the weirdest sport is probably cricket or something like that,
I agree. What is your birthday?
My birthday is November 11th, and I was born at 11 a.m. too.
Nice. Do you have a nickname?
Woo.
Okay.
Woo.
What is your favorite dog breed?
I'll say Pitts for sure.
44 seconds?
Hey, let's do it. Is that top 1? Top 2?
I don't know. I honestly haven't kept record. I think somebody actually got it in 32 seconds one time though.
Okay.
I can't lie.
That's hot.
Somebody did pretty good one time. I cannot remember for the life of me who it was, but so did you play any other sports than football?
The sports that I played, so I honestly been playing football since I was 5. I've been playing basketball for the same amount of time. I started playing basketball my freshman year. So that's whenever I started doing wrestling. And wrestling was pretty interesting. I had a 500 record, but it was the people who was on the team was really exciting.
Did you make it to state at all anytime?
Nah. But my sophomore year, I injured my hip flexor, and Elijah Segovia, shout out to him. He was also in the 220 weight class, and he made it all the way to state. I think he got 6th place or something, and that was really dope.
So you were wrestling at 220?
Yeah, I also wrestled at heavyweight. Also, I was down here in Elias, and they didn't have a 220 person, so I had to wrestle one of their heavyweight people, and dude was 6'3", 270, big dude, and I came out on top.
And you're 5'11", so.
Yeah, and that was a surprise. It was just dude was just big. But I was I'm not going to let him stop me from doing what I got to do,
Absolutely. Yeah, so what were your earlier years like for football, so 9th and 10th grade?
Okay. So my early years, so 9th and 10th grade, I was on the freshman team, of course. Our freshman team was stacked. I'm pretty sure we only lost. Did we lose? I think we lost one game or something, but we were stacked though. One time whenever we was doing, we for sure lost. I remember that butt whooping from Rockhurst. So whenever we did freshman team and our JV team, combined it, majority of our freshmen were starting over the JV people.
Right.
So it was like that. But we had a great season. And then my 10th grade year, that's whenever I moved up to varsity. I was a linebacker. I played more snaps. That's whenever we had, Gary Martin. Mm-hmm. For Gary Martin, it's really a routine for him to score a touchdown on touchdown on touchdown. That man's a freak, for real. And then for my junior year, that's whenever Gary got hurt, but I was still playing more linebacker, and that's whenever GM Gary Murray he started to show out too. So that was also whenever I torn my labrum. I tore my labrum versus Hickman in like the second, third quarter or whatever. It was like an inside zone play. I put my right arm on the guard of my guard or whatever, and bro had no movement. So I tried to like push him for some reason. My shoulder popped. So then once it popped, I had to like turn sideways and like fall backwards, and I gained like 2 yards. But then like right after that, my arm was just like this, and I was like this is not normal because like this space in between your bicep, it felt like something was like stuck right there, and I was like, this not it. So I had to come off the field. The trainer, of course, looked at it. And it was like, yeah, this thing right here is for sure dislocated. So I was playing with it. It felt weird. Then they popped it back in. I felt normal. I was like, okay, so let's go ahead. It was like, no. I was like, okay, bet, So for the rest of the game, it kind of hurt me because, like, Hickman, like, that's like a rival game. Everybody there. But I had to sit out, cheer on my teammates with a fellow smile, too. But we for sure came out on top. I'm pretty sure we're still 7-0 versus Hickman. Probably 8-0 now. Hopefully we continue that tradition too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Hickman's football team hasn't really.
Yeah, but now they got Conyers though. And with his background, he knows how to rebuild a culture.
And Brock Camp, just the last interview, actually.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, he's a very good player. So, what their quarterback,
Carter Holiday.
Yeah, so those two, I saw that they had a little scrimmage at Southern Boone as well, and they hooked up on a touchdown, getting the preseason going. So
that connection is going to be something dangerous.
Yeah, I think that their offense will be just fine. So I think it'll be the defense that Conyers is going to have to focus on this year for Hickman at least. If we're going to be realistic, it's probably 3-6, 4-5, and then they'll start to build. But he's coming in and trying to build a culture. It doesn't all start from day one, so you can't really expect a crazy amount this year. But they could definitely surprise us all, especially me. Because I have this extra little spotlight sitting here in the chair and talking about high school sports. So like even my own school, Blair Oaks, when I was going there, I didn't predict them to win the state championship in baseball. And then they went and won the state championship, and they're like all shit talking, all fun though. And so, but then there's a point where it's people that don't know me, from schools up in St. Louis, Kansas City, and they take it really seriously. And I say that they don't win, and then they start to have problems with me.
Yeah.
And, I don't want to really make enemies, but with the whole prediction channel, it's a bit of a struggle. There.
It's always going to be controversy. Always going to be controversy.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit about Gary Martine.
Yeah.
So you were splitting reps with him sophomore year?
Nah. He had the whole load. He had the whole load. I mean, I had like a few carries and stuff like that, but he was a one-man army.
Right.
For sure.
Well, we both follow each other, but I haven't hit him up yet, so I think I need to have him on.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Maybe
he would love to be on here.
Mid-season Truman, if he's got a bye week. Gary, if you're watching this, I'll hit you up soon. So
for sure,
we'll get something worked out with Gary as well here soon. So let me find my place. We're talking about junior year now. What was junior year like?
Junior year was smooth. Of course, I got injured. After I got injured, I sat out for 2 weeks. After those 2 weeks, I was like, I got to play since we came off a loss from Poplar Bluff. We was up the whole game, and they came back. The running back busted right up the gap. He runs like a 4.4 or 2. He was gone. Gone. But yeah, so that very next game, another rival game, Rockbridge. You know how we feel about Rockbridge. I feel like all rivalry games just got that itch to where it's like, I don't like y'all, and y'all don't like me, but we gonna, take it there. But that was my first game back, and I was hyped because I've been sitting on the sideline for the past 2 weeks. So I'm pretty sure we came out on defense first, and I think they had a quarterback that was really, really mobile. His name was Nate or something like that. He got out the pocket, and I was a linebacker, of course, side to sideline. He's running towards the sideline. I ankle by him. It's basically like a gator roll too. whenever I gator roll, that's whenever I felt my shoulder. But after that, I ain't I ain't feel it again. For after that, shoot, took over the game. I had a fumble recovery, had a pick six on what's that boy name? I don't know how I forget his name, but he committed to Harvard. Smart guy.
Sam
for
Kaiser.
Sure. Sam Kaiser. Yep. That man's gonna be doing some nice things up there too. But yeah, it's pretty nice to get a pick on him and knowing that he's going to Harvard.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a D1 level. So
For real.
And Brady Davidson as well. So then they kind of had like a 2 QB system at Rockbridge this past year. So they're getting the happiness there at the QB position group this year. It's kind of hard to decide between those two because now
real.
Brady's going to NIU, so you can't really just like have one of them play the whole entire year, and then like you can't have the senior just sit and ride the bench the whole year.
You got to spread the wealth for real.
So that was also something that happened at Cardinal Ritter this year. Antoine McKay was kind of more of a backup like athlete kind of role. He's going to Western Illinois, and then of course they have Carson Boyd. He's going to Illinois. So
so athletes over there. All right.
Yeah. Ritter's got like 10, 15 dudes going on to the next level from this 2024 class.
Yeah, I have a teammate. His name is Leek Riggins. He goes to Missouri Western with me too. He's a cornerback, hard hitting. He gonna lay that boom for sure.
All right, let's talk about senior year. How's that?
Senior year. Okay, so with our senior year, we went 3-8, but we was top 5 in scoring. So with the team, we averaged 38 a game. We only had like 12 returning varsity people. 12.
Yeah.
12. So everybody was new. Everybody came from the freshman level and JV level. So coach thought, it'll be smart to, give the starters a break on the special teams and stuff like that. Bad idea. So our first game was versus Park Hill South. I got a teammate that goes there now. Well, a teammate that goes to my school, but that's from there. His name is James Knowles, and that boy's a freak too. That boy's fast. And then the quarterback, he goes to Michigan. He was a quarterback, then he transferred to a wide receiver. And his brother is Ronnie Bell. And the crazy thing is that his dad is also a coach at my school. So he was at the game.
That's funny.
But yeah, so like literally they scored 17 points without offense touching the field. Straight special teams.
Wow.
And after that, coach was like, yeah, nah. Anybody who was good, we got to be on the field 24/7. I was like, coach, let's do it, because 14, 17 points without unanswered, without offense being on the field is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then after that, 3-8. Still, every single game was a dogfight. Every single one. Another one that pops up is versus North County. North County is towards St. Louis, like south or whatever. I don't like them boys. Every time that they tackled me, imagine somebody pinching you over and over again and saying slurs and, cuss words at you. I don't like that. Like, one time, somebody pissed me, and I was like, get off me. But, like, the crowd was, like, silent, so everybody heard me.
Right.
I was like, dang, because I'm like, I'm not that type of person, but you're going to push me there, yeah, but.
They always hear the retaliation.
Yeah, but then after halftime, we are up. They get 2 offside kicks back to back. They end up winning by 2 points, 42-44. Off those 2 offside kicks after halftime, man, I was hurt. I was hurt because they were talking all that. And we didn't come out on top, but, everything happens for a reason.
Right. Handshake line was a little tough.
Oh, no. Honestly, I didn't even shake hands because this dude, I forgot what number he was, but he was talking crazy to me. So crazy. It got to the point to where I'm walking back over and he called me the B word. So I come back to him, he gonna turn around and start going the opposite, I'm like, what? Like, what type of person does that?
Yeah.
Like, for real. So I was like, if I see bro, it's like that. So I was like, nah.
You didn't want to crash out.
I didn't want to crash out. I don't want to be that person, I already have a target on my back, but it's like I don't want to be, labeled one of them. So I sat by coach and just, watch my distance.
Right.
Yeah.
So what year did you graduate?
I graduated in 23.
Okay, so your You're going into your redshirt senior year this year, right?
My redshirt freshman year.
Redshirt freshman, that's what I meant. I'm sorry.
You good, you good, you good.
I wasn't thinking. I woke up early today. So, who are your favorite teammates at Battle?
I would say Elijah Jackman for sure. That was my guy. He came in as a freshman. There was like, take him underneath your wing ASAP. I did what Coach said, and you see how that came out. Straight dog. He's like top 1, top 2 in all the categories on defense, tackling, and all that. Another one, Gary Martin, man. Like I said, he's really like that. Do your homework. GM, Gary Murray, that's my dog too. Justin Goolsby, he's up in William Jewell. I haven't talked to him recently, but I know he already, he's killing it up there. Dayquil. Honestly, there's so many people. I can go on and on and on.
Right.
Let's go offensive line. TJ, he transferred to Florida. He's a 3-star tackle. Okay. He committed to Ole Miss. Yeah. He committed to Ole Miss. So I seen him whenever he was like a younger version of him. But like him, like just like me meeting him now, he matured so much. Like he's 6'4" now. He like 6'5".
He went to IMG. Is that the IMG guy?
He went. I mean, it's like an IMG school. It wasn't really called IMG, but it was in Naples, Florida. But their first game was like overseas in like Germany or something. Like it was crazy.
Because I remember seeing him on social media when he got that Ole Miss offer, and I I clicked on it because I think it was Elijah that like reposted it. I was like, why is Elijah reposting a Florida dude?
Yeah.
And I go, he's from Battle. I'm like, how does a Columbia, Missouri Battle High School guy, go to Florida? So I thought that was a little interesting. Let's move on. One of them that you wanted me to ask you, what were your favorite moments in high school?
My favorite moments, I would just, keep it on the field. But my favorite moments were for sure winning that district title. My sophomore season with that staff, we had Ellison as the head coach, Herman as the OC. I don't know why my mind's going blank, but we had a great staff. It was very comedian like, but it was just a great staff, a great group of guys. We walked into Washington. We walk in your trap, take over your trap. We celebrated like we was in like we was from there or whatever. Crazy thing is, their tight end, I know goes to MU. He came into the gym to where we was at after the game and asked if he can hold the trophy that says first place. But that's crazy though. I'm just saying that's crazy though. But but shout out to him, MU tight ends. They got a great culture over there. Another great story. Let me see. Oh my gosh, how do I forget? So my senior year, my dad passed away. Not my senior year, but my dad passed away whenever I was 10 years old. He was my coach. He's the person that even got me into football. So crazy thing is, it's like my life is like already wrote as like a story or whatever. So it's a away game, rival game. You know how them rival games get versus Hickman. My dad is an alma mater from Hickman. So we always had that, competitive edge. Like whenever NCAA 14 was out, we used to always play back to back to back. He win, I win. So whenever I knew I'm playing versus Hickman versus his alma mater, I'm finna go crazy. It's only right. So, where at Hickman, it's the introduction. They give me a jersey that says 21. That's the jersey number that he won whenever he was at Hickman. I got really emotional. Like, before that, I was thinking, well, honestly, nah. Well, at the point, I was thinking, I didn't have no more tears left. I went through so much adversity. But whenever they presented the jersey to me, I just felt that in me. So whenever I put on my helmet, I knew I knew it was coming. I was like, I can't show no signs of weakness and stuff like that. So I put on my helmet, got a little emotional. But after that, man, took over. I had 20 carries, 205 yards, 3 tutties, some awesome pictures. Shout out to Angie, shout out to Core. I love y'all so much. And yeah, it was a great game.
So let's go on. What were your stats and credentials I do have your credentials here, the accolades, if you would rather say that.
I'd rather you say it because I honestly forgot.
Okay, so I found it on the Missouri Western site, but do you remember any stats at all by chance?
So I know I didn't really crack 1,000 yards. So my senior season, I had 1,300 yards, 22 touchdowns, 56 tackles, 7 tackles a game, 100 and some yards a game, 2 touchdowns a game. I was balling for real. Yeah. Also, my junior year, I got all conference running back and all conference linebacker in the same season. So that was pretty dope.
Well, I think you did that twice, if I'm not wrong. So if you want to move to the accolades, we're gonna be here for a while. All right. So you had won CMAC Offensive Player and Defensive Player.
Okay.
You won Offensive Player of the Year. Would that have been Class 5?
Class 5, yeah.
Was that senior year?
It was for the CMAC, so it was for like the conference in Columbia and Jeff City and stuff like that.
Okay. So then you also got one-time All-State running back.
Yep, had to get one of them. Shout out to Elias. I heard that their coach like really, put a word in for me.
Their head coach is at Hinches.
I actually have no clue where he's at.
I think his name is Hinches. Okay. Two-time All-District running back and linebacker.
Yeah.
You were a two-time All-Conference running back and a three-time All-Conference linebacker.
Yep, balling.
So you're getting stuff since sophomore year. So I'd assume it was All-Conference linebacker sophomore year, and then you started just piling everything junior and senior year.
I started to get some more reps at the running back position, and now we're here.
Right. Now we're here, Missouri Western. So let's move on to college. What was recruiting like for you?
Recruiting was pretty interesting, like the beginning of it. You know how coaches come in, they talk to everybody. Iowa State came in, Wyoming came in, but the thing that was crazy about Wyoming was that they came in, like talked to me, talking about the fullback position. I was like, you know what? I don't want to be a fullback, but as long as I get there, I know what I'm capable of. So, I felt like I had a great season. They didn't reach out. That's cool. Stay where you at. I had a lot of offers in the D2 area, in this area, in my AA, and other conferences too. But like whenever I was trying to like pick out a school, like one of my like deal breakers was like the living situation. Like I didn't want to be like nowhere to where it's like run down or like wasn't like very modern like or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was a piece of it too. The food too. Like we're gonna be in the caf. I don't like spending money, fast food here and there, buying groceries. Another deal breaker was like the culture and who was going to be in front of me, because I know what I'm capable of, but I don't want to put everything on me on my freshman season. Like I want to have somebody who's ahead of me to where like I learn from somebody to where I know that I don't know everything, but I want to make sure that somebody who I'm learning from, they know what they're talking about.
Yeah. I think if you're not trying to get like the starting position right away when you're coming in as a freshman, it's a good idea to find a place that you can redshirt and then, get 4 or 3 years starting anyways. So, you did end up taking that redshirt path.
Yep. That was great. So at Missouri Western, shout out to Coach Fierce. I cannot say this enough. So Coach Fierce, man, his resume is crazy. He been to, I'll just say the most notable school. He was at North Texas. Okay. And then once the staff cleared out for Missouri Western State and Coach Fenwick, he came in with his staff and all that. They gave him a call and was like, let's go ahead and do it, since they was already together at his old school. And one crazy thing is, so my running back coach, his name is Coach St. Louis, and he was an offensive line coach first. So whenever they was cleaning out the whole staff, they was thinking about getting rid of him too. But the offensive line was like, if y'all get rid of him, we're all hitting the portal. So like, okay. We hear y'all. Let's go ahead and keep him. But Fenwick, he had his own offensive lineman coach, so they moved him to a running back. And honestly, since he's an offensive line coach, I like how he emphasizes certain things like, pass blocking. Like for my position, there's not too many running backs who's really good at pass blocking. So I want to make sure for me, I don't want no what ifs. I want to be great at every single position, wide receiver, my back, catching the ball, running the ball tough, and pass blocking also, to where I'm an every down back. But, shout out to him for sure. But yeah, back to my red shirt stuff. It was, I wouldn't say it was tough. It was just great work for sure. every Thursday it was like our game day. So we would be in shells to where it's like uppers, but we would be all legs. So we coming outside sore. Actually, no, it was no shows at all. It was just straight helmets. But either way, coming outside sore. Straight work. On the scout team, I got scout team of the week once. Shout out to James Noel. He got it every week. We put him at running back, wide receiver, anywhere, motioning from the backfield, anywhere he's making plays. His feet is crazy. Speed's crazy too. But yeah, so that was my redshirt year. It was smooth. I also got to play in one game. I honestly got to tell y'all, I came into school, and you also, I came into school at 250. Overweight. So I went to a party, it didn't really end well. And after that night, I kept on waking up at 4 a.m. like every single night. No matter what time I went to sleep, it was always 4 a.m. So I was working at Veterans United, and it got to the point to where either I'm going to work and get the scholarship money, I'm going to train. I'm like, let me just go ahead and just pick one thing and just, work. And I know whenever I get to school, I'm going to go to work too. But whenever I got to school, I came in at 250, and I was like, I was using my inhaler every time, I have asthma too. And I was like, man, this is crazy. I never see myself like this out of shape. But I cut down to 235. It was going against Northeastern State from Oklahoma or whatever. I had 3 carries for 18.6 a yard. 0.6 average, whatever. But I was smooth too, though.
So that was 6 to carry though in your limited attempts though. So that's not too bad.
For sure.
Let's backtrack a little bit. Why did you end up choosing Missouri Western?
So, with those things, so like my last bit of schools, I went to Quincy for a visit, and I went to Washburn. Those two right there was like my 2 schools that I was balancing to, since Missouri Western, they had a brand new staff. I didn't know who was on it. So then I like Washburn because, everything was just modern. But one thing I didn't like was that in the weight room, they didn't get any snacks. We had to pay for all the protein shakes and all that. I was like, I don't really like that, I feel like the school should be taking care of you on that end. But everything else was cool. For Quincy, they gave me I think a full ride and a starting spot. And I was like, that's cool and all, but I need somebody to learn from. I don't want to come in here and just everything's on me. I'm really have everything from high school and just now I'm playing college ball. But then I went to Missouri Western for my last visit, and whenever I went there, it was everything and all. The coaches was just showing love. The culture that they was talking about, I just felt it. I could just see it already happening, and our culture now is top tier. The living situation, I told them, I've been to these other schools. I seen the dorm that they were showing us. Keep putting me in somewhere else. It was like, yeah, I got you. So they put me inside a Griff. Shout out to Griff. It's where it's like an apartment type setting to where you got 2 rooms on each side, and then you're sharing a bathroom with your person, whatever, with an oven in the kitchen. So that was smooth too. So I was like, let's go ahead and pull that trigger, and look where we at now.
Yep. So I want to ask you, what were your other top offers?
My other top offers were UCM, Washburn, basically the whole MIAA besides Northwest were my top offers.
Okay, so what was your transition to college like?
So my transition, of course, came in at 250, but it was pretty smooth. I got everything pretty fast. I was asking the coach, question on question on question, because I feel like if you're not asking questions, you're not really learning for real. So I know I made it a priority to ask him a question at least once a day, just to make sure, he knows that I'm in tune, and to make sure that I'm in tune with everything that he's teaching too. With the school stuff too, my first semester I had a 2.2, all because, I was a biology major. And then I had chemistry class first year. And, high school chemistry and college chemistry are 2 different things. Different things. It was bad. So, I survived with a C, but, in the moment, bro, I was stressing. So I was like, I don't really want to stress for the next 4 years, since they told me that I would have to keep taking chemistry for all 4 years, and this is just the ground of chemistry. And I was like, no, can't do it. So then I switched to psychology, and I'm happy with my choice. But that second semester, I had I don't know what GPA I had, but I know I bumped up from a 2.2 to a 3.0. I had 3 A's and 3 B's, so I was on top of my game during that semester.
So if it were to like average out, then like if 3.0s meet in the middle, then you probably had like a 3.8 then.
Yeah.
So that's a really good GPA. So what was the transition from like running back position from high school to college? What was that like?
So in high school, coach says, they give you the sign, whatever, outside zone. I get the ball, run the ball as hard as I can. In college, you get the play call, you have 5 seconds, probably less, honestly, to where you got to look to where you're going, of course. Same thing as high school. You got to read the front, 3 front or 4 front, because the blockings are, the blocks are going to change too. I mean, it's the same thing for high school, but like in college, like you really have to pay attention. So there's going to be so many different stunts. There's more thinking. So then once you check out to see where your aiming point is and what the front is in, then you got to see where the linebackers are. If there's 2 in the box or 1 in the box, where are the alley players at? Then you got to check where the safeties are too. So it's like in high school, you get the ball and run. In college, you have 4 seconds to have a checkbox of like 6 things before that ball snapped and then either pass, block, or run. So it's like the game is moving fast.
Right.
Like, I mean, I heard people say, the game get faster and faster, but I never really, realized or like what do they really mean? But now I know. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, then once you get that experience, then the game starts slowing down. Everybody always says that too.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the rest of your career ends up bringing for you.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your goals for this season?
My goals for this season, so they got me first string for the red zone as of right now, and I'm going to keep on holding that crown too, to the sky. So I'm saying the last previous back that had that crown too, he had 15 touchdowns, I think. I'm going for 20. But yeah, so I feel like, I can achieve 20. So, why not? The sky's the limit.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I also, hold on. I also want to get involved into the pass game. I never really got involved in the pass game, but I had like 2 or 3 catches. But I've been working out into the slot more, so I'm getting more comfortable finding the green grass and gaining my awareness whenever I am out there.
All right. I like your goals for this season. Do you have any team goals by chance?
Team goals, beat our rivalry games. We have not beat Northwest in 12 years. Now that I'm here,
it's gonna be different.
It's gonna be different. I promise. I promise. No.
Well, that actually is a perfect transition into our next question. I was going to ask you who you're most excited to play for. I wrote down the 4 that I thought were probably the most significant on your schedule. I did leave off the homecoming game because I don't really know much about Nebraska Kearney, I think.
Oh, yeah. So let's call it behind closed doors. Our quarterback from last year, he transferred, and he goes there now.
So that's going to be a little fun.
That's going to be a little fun game for sure for our defense.
Normally homecoming is like one that you want to schedule somebody that's a little bit under you so you can get that win on homecoming. So we'll see how that game goes. Of course, it's no guarantee that you win any game. But the 4 that I wrote down that I thought were probably the most significant, Missouri Southern is one of your first games. I think it's in the first 4 weeks, if I'm not wrong. And then you travel to Pitt State.
Yep.
You travel to Central Missouri.
Yep.
And then, of course, the one that you mentioned, Northwest at home. So I'm assuming that's probably the one that you're going to say you're most excited to play for.
Yeah, also UCM, their quarterback, he won basically like the Heisman for D2.
I saw that.
Yeah, so last year whenever we played them for our first game, our D-line, we heard 4 quarterbacks the whole season, but we heard their starting quarterback and the backup came in, which is him, and he balled out. Won like a second-string quarterback. I think he's from either SIU or Mo State, and he took over and won that Heisman. So I feel like it's going to be a high-scoring game. Honestly, not a high-scoring game, but I feel like our defense is going to lock in. But the way how they move is going to be a great game, offensively and defensively.
All right, so we're getting down near towards the end here. Our second to last question for the day. You have Carnage the Enemy in your, at least your Twitter bio. Do you have it in your Instagram as well?
Nah.
Okay, so in your Twitter bio, you have Carnage the Enemy. What does that mean?
So it's this thing that I made in high school. Shout out to Mr. Bean, aka Elijah Jackman. So we had this thing called CTE. So where whenever we're on the field, we are causing havoc. We're hitting hard. We're coming physical. We're doing all that. So I took time out. I'm really like a deep thinker. I was like, what does CTE stand for? At least for me and my guys. I was like, okay. Boom. Carnage the Enemy. So carnage means that a bite, basically bodies on bodies, like a massacre, like just slaughtering, like it's bad to where it's not just one person dead, 2, 3, 4, 5, just a line of bodies. So like CTE stands for me as just go out there, just go kill. So that's what it is. And since they're the enemy, you know what I gotta do.
So our last question of the day. Thank you for coming on the show, of course.
I for sure enjoyed my time here.
What is your major, and what are you looking to do as a career?
Okay, so my major now is psychology, and I'm looking to do genetic counseling as of right now, or not sports management, but sports psychology.
Okay, so one more. Let me throw it in. All right, you're tatted up. What's your favorite tattoo and the meaning behind it as well?
I got this one right here on my back, so I don't know if you guys can see it, but it is 2 hands reaching out with a crown in between. It's a little hand. That's my hand. This is my father pressing down the crown. That's his death date. So that's one of my favorite. Another one that I like is on my biceps. I got Imago Dei, and that stands for image of God in English. I'm pretty sure it's Greek or Latin.
Okay.
So yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, that's all we got for today. That's one of the longer ones that I've had, which is a good thing. Of course, I told you that when we had the pause there for a moment.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming on again.
Of course, I enjoyed my time.
Next video. So this should be up. I don't want to promise you it's going to be up tomorrow, which would be Saturday. We're filming this on Friday because I'm going to be gone this weekend. If it's not up tomorrow, then it'll be up on Monday. Okay, so
don't party too hard, all right?
All right, I won't party too hard. Third time. Thanks for coming on. This has been Missouri Sports Talk. See you next time.